My name is Mary McKnight, and I run the Service Dog Academy here in Seattle, Washington. We help you train both pet dogs and service dogs at our program. So we help you train the best pet dog in town, and while you're training your pet dog with us, you actually help to contribute to our low-cost service dog training program, in addition to helping us create and be able to fund these wonderful videos that we're putting out about dog training and service dog training. This video is the second in our series of how to travel on an airplane with your dog. So if you have not seen our first video, I highly recommend that you go to our YouTube channel and take a look at our first video on how to prepare to travel on an airplane with your service dog. And in addition, we also have a video about some tips and tricks that we use when we actually do the traveling portion of our program. So not just the airplane, but just when you are going and traveling with your dog, some of the things that you need to bring with you. So I have taken at least 25 flights with Jasper. He was my first service dog. And Liam has done about 15 different airplane flights. So we kind of know what we're talking about here when we talk about preparing for airplane flight. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is you make sure that you have some form of exercise for your dog, and your dog needs to get at least 45 minutes of heart pumping exercise before you leave for the airport. I don't mean a walk, I mean a jog, a run, a play with a ball, a fetch, swimming in the pond, whatever it is, that he have 45 minutes of heart pumping exercise before we leave for the airport, because sometimes flying can be a stressful thing for your dog, and you want to make sure that your dog is as exhausted as possible, because the more tired that they're going to be, the less likely they're going to be anxious on the flight. So that's the first thing that I want you to make sure you do, is you exercise your dog 45 minutes prior to you leaving the airport. 45 minutes of heart pumping exercise. All right, so the second thing is I want you to go ahead and withhold food and water at least 4 hours before the flight. So this can prevent nausea, and it can also ensure that your dog doesn't have to go during the flight. Say you're taking a 4-hour flight and you're taking a 3-hour layover in one place, which turns into a 5-hour layover, and you have another hour flight, so that your dog is prepared to not have to go to the bathroom, because letting your dog out to go to the bathroom and having to come back through security is kind of a pain in the rear end, and we want to make sure that our flights are as comfortable and as easy as possible. So withhold food and water 4 hours before the flight. The third thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your dog goes to the bathroom, and these are little poo bags. I want you to make sure that you empty your dog's both bowel and bladder. So we don't want our dogs to blow their bowels and bladders when they're scared and when the airplane is taking off or landing. So emptying your dog's bowels and bladders by teaching your dog how to go on command is a really great way to prevent any sort of accident that will make you the not the envy of everyone on the airplane, but the enemy of everyone on the airplane when your dog gets so scared that he blows his bowels and bladder. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you, again, withhold food and water and make sure that your dog has gone to the bathroom prior to getting on that airplane. So, all right, the next thing that I'm going to suggest that you bring is some anxiety relief solution and also Benadryl. So traveling with a service dog on an airplane can be kind of a tricky endeavor, and sometimes these homeopathic travel remedies have a tendency to help a little bit when it comes to your dog feeling anxious on the airplane. And Benadryl can also help with your dog feeling anxious on the airplane because it's going to make your dog tired. But I highly recommend that you try them like 2 or 3 weeks before you get on the airplane, so that you don't end up having the exact opposite reaction in which you think your dog is going to have. So we don't want Benadryl to make your dog hyper, and we don't want the anxiety solution to make your dog nauseous. So try out the homeopathic anxiety solutions and the Benadryl before you end up flying, because unfortunately most vets will not give you a sedative for when you fly with your dog, and there's a good reason because of that. Your dog is going to be up in the middle of 40,000 feet up in the air, and the oxygen level is a lot less there, and it can sedating your dog can play a lot of can cause a lot of bad things. So that's why most veterinarians, or really good veterinarians, will not prescribe you a sedative for your dog when you're traveling on an airplane with them. All right, so the next thing that I want to make sure that you are doing is that you look up a concept called TTouch. Now, TTouch is a type of massage therapy that helps a dog feel more calm. So it's kind of like acupressure for a dog, or acupuncture for a dog, that results in massaging your dog, and it helps reduce your dog's overall anxiety level. So Liam has a tendency to freak out on takeoffs and landings, unlike Jasper, who was like, whatever, I love being on an airplane, I love being next to you. Liam, on the other hand, is like, I'm going to die. So actually, when you do this TTouch massage on your dog, like I like to massage Liam's ears, and I massage his chest, and it's really important that you start that prior, maybe 10 to 20 minutes prior to takeoff, so that your dog is kind of relaxed before we get into the state of anxiety. So I highly recommend that you Google what TTouch massage therapy is, and that you try it with your dog. All right, and the last thing that I suggest my students do is book an extra airplane ticket. So what I mean by that is I want you to do a practice run instead of, taking that 4-hour flight out to the other side of the country. I want you to do a practice run to a local community airport that is, within a short distance of you. So for us Seattleites, flying into Portland is a really great option. Sometimes it can be about $75 to $100 and round trip. And what's really great is you can assess how your dog is going to perform on the airplane by taking this, first flight. So the great thing about it also is that sometimes, if you go to fly into a smaller airport, what you can do is end up, if your dog does not like flying, you can go ahead and just drive home or take the train home, so that your dog doesn't have another freak out occasion, and you become the enemy again of everyone on the airplane. So I highly recommend that you go and you take an initial flight just to see what your dog is going to be like on the airplane. So we look forward to seeing you next week. I hope you've had learned a little bit about traveling with your dog on an airplane, and I look forward to seeing you next week in our next video blog. See you later.